Six Nations 2021, the third week, team of the week. Hard one to pick this week because we only had two games. And on the scoreboard, both of them pretty one-sided, especially Italy and Ireland. But Wales ended up beating England pretty convincingly as well. Some people will say Pascal Gozer should take all these positions in team of the week. But we will try and leave refereeing controversies behind us and have a look through some of the best players of the week. As always, just picking my 15. It's definitely not anybody else's 15, and whatever 15 you've got in your mind, it's definitely not that one. There's definitely some guys who are different, and it doesn't mean any other guys are bad. Let's get started. We'll start with a prop, and I've gone with an Irishman. I've gone with Dave Kilcoyne. His numbers probably don't do him that much justice. 47 minutes. 10 meters from 2 carries is like pretty decent for a prop. Like, you're not really in the team for getting a bunch of run meters. 5 meters per carry is actually a pretty good return for a prop. Usually it's around 1 or 2. He has 1 pass, but defensively makes 13 out of 13 tackles. Now, he does concede 3 penalties. That's maybe the one area of concern. But it's just seeing him flying in with those clean outs and, doing it without being illegal while doing it was... it was pretty impressive. I thought he had a pretty good shift. Old Dave Kilcoyne came off just after half-time. Hooker. I'll put the positions in the correct place this time, I think. I've gone with another Irishman. I've gone with Ronan Kelleher. I thought it was a pretty mature performance for him. I know he's still a pretty young man, relatively inexperienced at the test level. But I do believe going forward, he's probably going to be that guy for Ireland. I know Rory Best's left some pretty big shoes to fill. And there's other guys in that position there or thereabouts. But I think Kelleher going forward can really be the business. 63 minutes. He got 32 meters from 7 carries, so he was pretty busy. Ball in hand. He had 1 pass. He beat 2 tackles. He made 12 from 12 tackles of his own, including 1 that was dominant. He won 1 turnover. He did concede 1 turnover. Lineout, I forgot to check the numbers. Actually, it occurs to me now, but I think their lineout was pretty solid, wasn't it? Yeah. Kelleher. Who else could you go? Anyway, I'll leave you guys to ponder that one. Now, Tighthead, I probably could have gone all Irish front row. But then I would have got calls of, well, they only played Italy. And Italy's scrum going into this match was the worst in the comp, and Ireland's was the best. So I've shifted things up. Maybe unpopular opinion, but that's kind of the idea of the video. It's my team, not anybody else's. Not the right team, just my team. Kyle Sinclair. He played 80 minutes, believe it or not, in a losing effort for England. He had 43 meters from 12 carries, which is a stupid amount for a prop. Nobody should be carrying 43 meters if you're a prop. Once you get to double figures, you need to slow that down. 12 carries, like I mentioned, is pretty busy work. 3 passes, and his pass is just so sweet. Like, for a front rower, he has one of the best passes in the game. I've said it before, and I will continue to say it because he's got a really good pair of hands. He had 11 from 12 tackles and didn't concede any penalties. Now, take into consideration, Wales going into this game, Wyn Jones being one of the best guys scrummaging in the tournament thus far. So for Kyle Sinclair to go through the 80 against the Welsh front row with Wyn Jones in it, not concede any penalties, I thought was a pretty good shift. You mainly pick your props for the effort in the front row scrummaging. So Kilcoyne and Sinclair are my guys for that. 2 locks. I've gone with Alan Wyn Jones for 1. He's my first Welshman on the board. There's going to be more to come. 80 minutes he played. Maybe an example of, if you're looking for a Lions team, there's a big question about who should be captain, right? Who do you pick as captain? Do you pick Hogg if he's going to be fullback? He's Scottish, so his odds of even playing for the team with Gatlin in charge are slim to none. Even if he's the world's best fullback at the minute, that's a side point. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's very good. He's Scottish, so that's by the by. Is Farrell got the temperament for the Lions? Is Sexton going to be the starting 10? Like, of which of these sides are the current captain likely looking for it? Alan Wyn Jones certainly got the captaincy there. Now, you obviously need to pick your best players. Some people would argue he's too old. You should pick James Ryan Baratoje. But anyway, Alan Wynne-Jones had a pretty good effort, both in his captaincy and his gameplay. 27 run meters from 8 carries from him is a very solid effort. 3 passes, he had 12, not 11, 12 from 13 tackles, including 1 dominant. He did concede 1 penalty, but overall, he'll be pretty happy. He looked pretty content to be receiving the Triple Crown, and his side is 3 from 3. Another good effort from the veteran. He's still a good player, man. I know people don't rate him for whatever reason. He's still very, very good. The other guy I've gone with is as another potential British and Irish Lions guy, James Ryan. And I've seen some people bagging him based on the performance against Italy. And I guess it's because he wasn't as busy as he usually is in terms of his carries, but he still does a lot of kind of grunt work every time. So he plays 80 minutes. He gets 24 meters from 6 carries. Now, if Kyle Sinclair can get 40-odd meters, and James Ryan is usually one of the top carriers, you could argue he could do better. That's a fair call. But he still manages 19 from 19 tackles, which I believe is the top one this weekend. Phenomenal effort from him, including 1 dominant. He does concede 1 penalty, but man, he's just always there. He just always gets off the ground and makes another tackle and makes another tackle. Him, if you wanted an all-tackling Lions second row, put him and Johnny Gray together, man. They will tackle until the cows come home. Anyway, blindside, I have gone with Tighthead. Now, he got player of the match, and I think that's 3 from 3 weeks that I've picked him. I can't say enough good stuff about him, man. He's a very, very good player, and I still think people don't give him the credit he's due. I'm very pleased that he got man of the match in an effort. I mean, they could have gone to multiple guys in that game, to be fair, but he has 80 minutes played, player of the match, 38 meters from 7 carries. He breaks 2 tackles. He puts Garbisi on his backside, although he may be disappointed he wasn't able to keep himself upright when Garbisi kind of speed bumped him. He ended up falling over, which is maybe a bit disappointing given all the extra weight he's got over him. 4 passes, 10 from 10 tackles. He did win a turnover, so the guy is just everywhere. Really, really everywhere. I know he mainly plays lock for Ireland, but I quite like Henderson, Ryan, and Byrne all together. That's quite a combination. I know that means you kind of lose out on a traditional blindside, but he still does a really good job there, man. Just look at Peter Steph Dutoy for the Springboks, man. Big guys who can play second row can also be very effective on the blind. Openside, I've managed to sneak in one of the Italian guys. I've gone with Johan Meyer. He played 80 minutes. He got a try, the only Italian try of the game. He ran 87 meters from 9 carries, which is in itself pretty incredible. 87 meters is usually the numbers you would associate with a winger, and he's on a team which got something of a hiding, so credit to him for that. He breaks 4 tackles, which is among the highest this week. There's a few guys who beat him out, but that's pretty bloody high. He makes 5 passes and has 9 from 11 tackles. I know this side got a bit of a hiding. I know the guy O'Connor's was bloody everywhere for Ireland as well, but I've given it to Meyer. Ball in hand, he definitely had a better game than Connors. But Connors, as I mentioned, he was just everywhere for Ireland, so I could see an argument for him as well. Tipperick was pretty good as well. Anyway, Curry did some good things as well. Tough pick. That's my one. Again, not your one, just my one. Next, finishing out the front row. Forwards, not the front row. Back row. Talupe Faletau, he got player of the match again. And I've said it again, man, he's in career form. I know Bath's been shocking, and I haven't seen every game he's been playing for Bath, admittedly. I think I've seen 1 game for Bath this year, and he played all right. He was one of the top tacklers. But he continues to be so good for Wales. He has player of the match, 80 minutes, 112 meters from 18 carries. 18 carries is a stupid number of carries, and it's not like he was running into a brick wall. Like, if you saw 18 carries, like 25 meters, you'd be like, okay, you need to start passing it because you're actually not getting anywhere. You're maybe being, a detriment to the team. 112 meters. I know Billy V really stepped up his game as well, but man, Talupe. 1 broken tackle, 3 passes, 14 from 16 tackles, high tackle count including 1 dominant. He does have 2 handling errors and 1 penalty conceded if you're looking for a black mark, but man, very happy with that, man. So good to see him injury-free for seemingly an extended period. Into the backs, I have gone with Kieran Hardy. He came off injured, so he only played 65 minutes. It would have been interesting to see how much more time he would have gotten if he'd stayed fit. But man, he was pretty live wire. I seem to remember he made one pretty bad mistake, but off the top of my head, I can't recall what it was. I've only seen the game the once, but 1 try, which caught the English defence really napping. I don't think anyone can have any complaints about his try. He has 75 run meters from 7 carries. He's a number 9, and yet he breaks 2 tackles. He kicks for 325 meters. Was it once that he lost the kicking duel against the English in the start of the second half? I can't remember, but his box kicks were under a bit of pressure, admittedly. It did take him a while to adapt to Big Maro closing him down. So maybe if you were looking for a black mark, which doesn't appear in the stats, you could say that. It did take him a while to adapt. But you can also criticise his forwards for not giving him enough protection. They eventually went to the kind of caterpillar-style ruck where he was able to get a bit more space. He makes 9 from 11 tackles. No, that's not the right guy. It's 4 from 4 tackles for him. I was reading the wrong guy. 2 handling errors again if you're looking for a black mark. 4 from 4 though. It's a pretty good effort for a number 9. So yeah, Kieran Hardy, bit of a live wire. Now number 10. I feel like I should distribute this among 2 guys, but I've gone. If I have to pick one, this is going to be unpopular, I feel, but I've gone with Dan Biggar. Now Sheedy definitely gets. Like, if you can put them together, I think that's easily the best one from the game. But, yeah, it's weird because he came off after like 45 minutes. So it's one where you have to kind of split the performance. And he was very good for the time that he came on, but Sheedy definitely added something else as well. So it's a tough one. Sexton was very comfortable in his game. Garbisi is still a bit of a live wire, probably the best running 10 in the competition at the moment. We didn't get to see Finn Russell play, obviously, or Jelly Bear because they were off this weekend, and Ford was the only guy who was competing for that try which he set up. But anyway, I've gone with Biggar. So he gets 45 minutes played. He has 1 try assist, which is the quick thinking kick out to Josh Adams on the wing, which a lot of people didn't appreciate, but I'm sure people wearing red jerseys appreciated quite a lot. Some quick thinking. He kicks 2 conversions and 1 penalty. Very, very adept with the boot. He makes 10 meters from 2 carries, which is maybe the one area of his game where you think maybe Sheedy added a bit of something extra. Because, yeah, he didn't take the ball to the line very often. He had 113 kick meters, so it was more Hardy that was doing the work with the boot, but still pretty solid. 8 passes, 2 from 2 tackles, including 1 dominant. So sets up Wales to go on and finish off that game. That's my argument for it. But again, pick your guy. Doesn't have to be my guy. We can both have our own opinions. That's happy days. Now I'm going to double down with another maybe unpopular opinion. Because I'm picking wingers on the wing they played, not necessarily just wingers. I'm picking left wing, right wing. I have gone with Josh Adams on the left wing. And again, I've seen him bagged a little bit because he dropped off a couple of tackles, which is maybe fair. He got 4 from 6 tackles, although 2 of them were dominant. He plays 80 minutes. He has 1 try. And if I'm not mistaken, he's the one who puts the kick through for Lewis Rees-Zammit's not knock on, right? So you can kind of give him a bit of attacking credit there, even if that bit gets forgotten. I could be mistaken, but that's the way I remember it. He gets 33 meters from 4 carries, which is less than Kyle Sinkler, which you might think rules him out. But it's still not a bad return for the number of carries he had. He has 167 kick meters. He breaks 1 tackle, 4 passes. He does have 1 handling error. But in terms of his effort on the left wing, I thought it was a good return from him. Remember, he hasn't played for the first two rounds of the Six Nations. He was involved in the build-up for Wales, so I'm going to give him some credit for helping set up finishing off 1 try in the air and contributing to the build-up on another one. There you go. Who else have we got? Inside centre, I have gone with Robbie Henshaw. I snubbed him in the first week when he was electric. I haven't been able to snub him for a second time. 71 minutes, he gets 56 run meters from 9 carries, which is, again, a good return. He breaks a tackle, he has 6 passes and an offload. Remember, Ireland don't usually make that many offloads, but he made one of them. He has 13 from 14 tackles, including 1 dominant. He was just everywhere for Ireland in that game. You just kept hearing his name pop up because he was just getting involved. He's got a hell of a work rate, man. It's something that can be said about a lot of the Irish players, actually. And I've put his midfield partner outside him. He's one of my favourite players. He's another guy that people seem to bag for some reason. I don't know if it's a Leinster Munster thing. People prefer Farrell, but man, Ringrose, I think he's having a pretty good tournament. He gets a try assist, 100 run meters from 10 carries. Offensively, he's been one of Ireland's better weapons, actually, this tournament. He breaks 2 tackles, makes 5 passes, also has an offload. 4 from 6 tackles is maybe a slight black mark if you're looking for one. Like compared to Henshaw's numbers, it's nothing to write home about. And he does concede 1 penalty, but Ringrose, for mine, has been good all 6 nations. And may that continue. Now, right wing, I feel like, man, I'm setting myself up for a bit of stick. But it is my team. How many times am I going to say that? I've gone with Anthony Watson. I think people are going to cry out for Lewis Rees-Zammit. And if he scores that try where the ball's around his feet where he burns Johnny May, I think I'd probably go with Lewis. But I've gone with Anthony Watson. He plays 80 minutes. He scores a pretty well-worked try for England. He manages to beat, I think it was Liam Williams, with a good little jinking step. 37 run meters from 7 carries. He breaks 2 tackles. He makes 1 pass. He does have 0 from 1 tackles made, which is a black mark if you're looking for one. Josh Adams' try is scored out on his wing. If he's still in the huddle, whether you blame him for that, not having the awareness, maybe. But remember, he did prevent... He got back for 1 kick through. Was it the kick through for Hardy where he pulled his hamstring? I think Watson's the guy covering for that one. So I still think Watson, over the course of that game, was a solid performer for England, even if it wasn't a perfect effort. And the last one, I've gone with an Irishman. I've gone with Hugo Keenan. Like, Liam Williams got a try, but he was, I think, defensively a bit at fault for a couple of the English tries, wasn't he? Yeah, I think so. He could have done a wee bit better. Keenan, you might say, well, it's only against Italy, but still, man, he had a pretty good effort. 80 minutes, he scores a try. He has 66 run meters. He carries 7 times and he breaks 6 tackles, which in the scheme of things is pretty bloody good. I think that's the most I've seen this week. He has 7 passes. He's got 0 from 0 tackles, so he's not asked to do much defensively. It would be an interesting test to see him put under a bit more pressure, but his positioning seems to be pretty good for the most part. He's pretty good under the high ball, better than I would have thought a guy his size can be, but he's very adept. And, yeah, pretty happy with him. Daly didn't have his best game for England, and Trua was maybe not his best game for Italy either. So it is Keenan for me. Other guys, I've definitely shafted Navidi. He was bloody everywhere, but remember, Byrne gets man of the match, so kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't there. Who else was good? There's definitely other guys. I already mentioned Sheedy. Sexton, again, was pretty consistent in his performance. Tyke Furlong. Pascal Gauzère, people are going to mention his name, I'm sure. Who else have I know? I've already mentioned Lewis Rees-Zammit. I don't think many people are going to be calling for Johnny May for Team of the Week. Maybe one of the other locks. Maybe Adam Baird was also pretty solid. I think he had a pretty good line-out steal at one point. Henderson, maybe. Anyway, as always, it is just one man's opinion for what that's worth. Everyone will pick a different 15. I think these 15 guys were pretty good. Tell me you agree or otherwise in the comments. Let me know what your 15 might be. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.